A wish is a dream your heart makes. The biggest barrier, literally and figuratively, in their plan to return to the Isle of the Lost was the invisible dome that covered the island. There was no way in or out of the island without the king's permission. Of course, it would have been easy to ask for Ben's help, except he was out of town. And Mal didn't want the king to have to answer to his counselors and his subjects if they had learned he had allowed 4 villain kids to return to the Isle of the Lost, now that the borders were guarded more rigorously than ever after Maleficent's attack. The recent embargo meant most of the goblin barges that brought in supplies and leftovers to the Isle had been blocked, and the few that were allowed through were being monitored very closely. Hence, Jay had decided on stealing the royal limousine for their escape. The only problem was how to get a hold of the car without being caught. Luckily, the one person who could help him had already issued an invitation. Jordan had asked him to stop by her lamp that afternoon. She was recording a new episode of her popular online show and wanted to interview him as one of Auradon's top 20 players in the lead-up to the Castle Coming game that weekend. Jay followed her directions to the lamp, which was kept on a special shelf in the residence halls. Jordan's lamp was smaller than her father's, made of rose gold and delicate filigree carvings all over its surface. Jay wondered if he should pick it up, and he decided not to. Instead, he called down into the lamp spout. "Hello in there, Jordan? Just rub the front and you'll pop in," he heard Jordan yell from inside. "And no need to shout, I can hear you loud and clear." He did as told, and found himself comfortably seated on a pink velvet footstool across from a small octagonal coffee table. Green columns painted with gold swirls circled the spacious room, and heavy blue curtains draped dramatically from the ceiling. A striking purple and gold oriental rug was centered on the floor, and peacock feathers were arranged in vases all around. "Neat," he said. "It's bigger than it looks." "Thanks. I like my space," said Jordan, who was seated across from him on a purple stool. Is it annoying that this is all the magic you can use at school?" he asked, picking up one of the many stuffed pillows. "Not really," said Jordan. "I'm actually glad for the restrictions. Magic can be wildly unpredictable, so even though it's fun, it's nice to have a break from it sometimes." "So no more granting wishes, huh?" he teased. "Not today, anyway," she said cheerfully. "Ready for the interview?" "Hit me," Jay said. Jordan snapped her fingers, and the lights went on. "Welcome to Tourney Center," she said, smiling into her camera. "Today we have Jay, a star player on Auradon's Knights. Jay, so glad you could join us." "Great to be here, Jordan. Are you excited about the upcoming game? Do you think the team is ready to win the tournament?" she asked. "Very excited. I think we're more than ready. The Lost Boys have a killer defense. How do you think the Knights will succeed?" "The way we always do. We run hard, we dodge the cannons, and we make goals." "You're confident." I am. I know our team." "What about the rumors that King's Ben won't be back in time to play the game? We've heard that he left earlier this week on some secret official business," Jordan said keenly. "Can you tell us anything about that?" "I can't speak to the rumor, but I know Ben wouldn't want to let us down. I hope he makes it back in time, but if not, we'll carry on." "I'm sure you will," she said, rifling through her index cards for the next question. She smiled back up at the camera. "One of the things we like to do at Tourney Center is to get to know our players better. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?" "Well, I'm Jay, son of Jafar. I grew up on the Isle of the Lost, but I think everybody knows that by now." "That's right. You're one of the so-called villain kids. When did you move here?" she asked. Jay perked up at the question. "At the start of the school year. A big limousine picked us up and dropped us off at Auradon Prep's front door." "How fancy," said Jordan, leaning in with a smile. "Sure was. The amount of candy they had on the back of that thing. I got to tell you, Jordan, I wish I had the keys to that limo in my pocket right now," he said, rubbing his stomach. "Jay, you know the rules," Jordan said, looking worried. "You can't say the word wish in my lamp. Otherwise, check your pockets for the keys. You'll have to return." She trailed off as the entire room went topsy-turvy, and the two of them were thrown across the lamp like rag dolls. "Must have been another earthquake," said Jordan, struggling to right herself and her footstool. Lamps had crashed, pillows and peacock feathers were scattered everywhere. "They're so annoying. Every time one hits, my lamp falls on the floor. Would you mind When you leave, would you mind putting it back on the shelf? Not at all, said Jay, noticing she had forgotten all about the limousine keys. He felt guilty for deliberately deceiving Jordan and tricking her into using her magic, but since it was for the good of the cause, since it was for a good cause, maybe that was okay. The villain kids were just trying to protect Ordon from harm. He'd ask Fairy Godmother about it in the next time in remedial goodness class. Jordan wrapped up the interview and thanked him for stopping by. As Jay walked back toward campus, the keys to the royal limousine jingled in his pocket.